Oh, I've had a few friends of mine ask me what is going on with the Buffalo Bills and what can they do to correct things. Well, first of all, they just lost to the Jets yesterday, and it's one loss. So no one was saying this when they beat the Packers and they played bad in the second half. Everybody was like, "Go Bills, go Bills!" And they lose a game. Everybody's like, "What's wrong? The season's over." It's not the way it is. But I will try to talk about a couple of things that I think the Bills could work on. First of all, the Jets played really well in the game. All the props to the Jets. They have a really good defense. I like Wilson, the wide receiver, on the offensive side of the team. And they're really turning things around in New York, or in New Jersey, I should say, from what they've had in the past. And the Jets look like they'll be a good team in the future. So props to them. Now, one thing I would like to point out, though, the Bills, its injuries on the defense are causing a lot of the problem. I mean, the loss of Hyde and White for this season have caused a lot of problems because they're both Pro Bowl quality players, and hopefully we'll be able to get White back even this week against the Vikings. But Hyde, his season's over, and after seeing his amazing play last year in the Patriots playoff game, the best play I've ever seen when I've watched football, we're going to miss Micah Hyde for sure this year. And then Jordan Poyer missing, Milano injured, and Rousseau in the second half was injured as well and didn't play in the second half of the game. So those are big reasons that it's hard to stop the running game, especially on defense. Milano coming up at linebacker, he makes just great plays, and he stops screen passes and short passes. And the Jets made huge short passes yesterday. They got rid of the ball very quickly and almost used it as a sidekick to their running game, how fast they were releasing passing plays. And I think Milano would have helped a lot of that. Poyer being missed, Johnson came in as his replacement. I think he had some bad angles on a couple of tackle attempts and missed tackles. And, I think the Bills could have played better to stop the run. And Rousseau being in the second half, that's a huge loss. He does a lot to help us stop the run. So that's one thing. Again, all props to the Jets. New Jersey's playing good football. Coordinators, I think the coordinators had a hard day. Our defensive coordinator, I think he needs to do something to try to stop the run. I know we don't want to give up on the nickel defense. We love the nickel defense, but teams are starting to just run the ball down us. The Packers did it in the second half, and when the Jets had the ball at the 5-yard line late in the fourth quarter, they ran the ball, and ran the ball again. Right down the field. That's how they got their field goal. And everybody can say they eventually have to pass. And I know that this team is built to try to stop the pass. But at some point, we've got to try to stop the run too. Or the other teams are just going to keep bashing us on it. And the offensive coordinator, you could see the game plan should have been by what the Jets offensive coordinator did. Quick passes. When you've got a good defensive line that's making pass rushes with only 4 down, that's exactly what the Bills do. The Jets do the same thing. You got to get rid of the ball fast, and that's what the Jets were doing. I felt like the Bills made too many long pass attempts, and I know Josh Allen's got a great arm, and he throws really accurately, but you've got to mix things up. You've got to throw some short passes in there and get the ball quickly, too. Some screen passes would have been nice to see. I think they're depending too much on Diggs, for sure. Diggs has like 61 completions compared to like 20 and 15 to all the other wide receivers on our team. And I'd like to see Dawson Knox get the ball more. I think there were some plays where we threw long, but Dawson was open short. And he is dumping it off to Singletary, but I'd like to see Knox and our slot receiver. What's going on with our slot? I mean, Shakir and Isaiah McKenzie right here, they both need to produce more. I am at the point that I would like to see OBJ on the Buffalo Bills, and I hope that happens because I think that's part of the problem that Davis is having is last year when they had Beasley, he was able to get open more too. Now it's Diggs and Davis that they're guarding, not Diggs, Davis, and Beasley. And if we could get another slot receiver or a slot receiver by committee to help with that, then I think that would go a long way. Our kicking game and special teams. I mean, really, you could say one of the differences in the game is the Jets kicker made a long field goal, and I know the Bills kicker made one, but he missed a long field goal, and if that goes the other way around, the Bills win the game. So, but what I'm more worried about is the kickoff out of bounds. It's his second kickoff out of bounds this year. It sets the other team up way up towards midfield, and you can't have that. You can't be giving the ball to the other team near midfield just off of a kickoff. You have to at least make them earn it to get up there. And I don't know what's going on with Tyler Bass, why he's kicking the ball out of bounds, because he's got a strong leg. Just kick it through the end zone. Let's stop with the even kicking it to the 5 and trying to pin him in at the 10 or 15. If kicking out of bounds is going to happen as a side effect of that. The running game. We have to figure out how to get a running game. You know, I said that we need short passing game. We also need a running game. If we could actually get a running game going, then the defense is going to have to open up so that we can throw longer passes. I mean, right now they're just defending the long pass. We don't have the short pass. We don't have the running game. So we need to somehow work on that. And maybe James Cook can step up this week as we face the Minnesota Vikings. With his brother coming into town, maybe he'll really want to show off and they can feature James a little more, give him the ball more. I like Singletary. I really think that the problem with our running game is our offensive line and maybe a little bit of our play calling. But the line needs to play better. They didn't play well this week, but they played a really good Jets defensive line this week too. So, again, props to the Jets. So finally, as we look ahead, what do we got to face next week? And we only want to look 1 week ahead because we're playing in the NFL, and it doesn't matter who the opponent is. The Jets just showed you've got to take them seriously. And we're playing a team that's playing really well this week. The Minnesota Vikings, the 7-1 Minnesota Vikings come into town. They never turn the ball over. They have 8 turnovers on the season. Only 8. They're not going to turn the ball over. I mean, I hope they do. But it's probably not very likely with them only coming into the game with 8. They have a very good defense. And as I just mentioned, hopefully James Cook can have a good game. I think Devin Cook with the Vikings is going to want to come in here, especially with the way the Bills' run defense is playing right now. And he is going to want to come into Buffalo and have an enormous game to go over and trade jerseys with his brother afterwards and maybe even write something on there about having how many yards he got during the game. So it'd be fun to watch the Cook brothers play against each other this week. Hopefully James does get a few more touches. Hopefully the Bills can put these things together, put other things together. Hopefully Milano and Poyer will be back this week. And hopefully Trey White. Hopefully we can get the return of Trey White back to the field. And right now we also have Rousseau, who's dealing with an ankle injury. Hopefully he can come back and be all right. That ankle kept him out of the second half against the New Jersey Jets. And, you know, that really hurts because Rousseau is becoming a dominant player at the other end. He's a monster. Even when he just puts his arms up, it's hard for the quarterback to throw a pass. So we need Rousseau in there. And Josh Allen. He does have an elbow injury of some sorts. They are saying he'll be limited in practice this week. He did get hurt towards the end of the game on the strip sack, his elbow. He was rubbing it, and they just listed him just now as a little limited in practice this week. And as much as I would like to say Case Keenum can come in and beat his former team, we all know that we're much better with Josh Allen at quarterback. And all prayers that all of these guys will be ready to go and that we will have a good game this week at home against the 7-1 Minnesota Vikings. And I always say the biggest thing to always remember is that God loves you. And so do I!